TV Winter League action. It's EG going against EHOME. We're about to hop into game number 2. That's GoDz. I'm KotLguy. Draft's underway, so let's get into it so we can catch the first picks and bans. But it is EHOME up a huge game, pulling out the classic, what many have dubbed, Bear Force 1 strat. The Ursa with his unique Mask of Madness diffusal item build, purging everything in sight, plus, of course, the wonderful 11 Lone Druid.
Yeah.
Well played.
TTY was really the force that game. He was just impossible to deal with. They put too much in perhaps countering a Lone Druid and not enough elsewhere to provide answers. We'll see what EG's plan for game number 2 is. They have first pick, and it feels like more than side at the moment. First pick is probably the biggest deal. I think so. There's been periods where being on the Radiant side was what you wanted, or being Dire if you want to go back to some of the past TIs. But right now it feels like first pick is the most important thing to have.
It even had so much influence, at least in my opinion, on the first time these two teams met in the very first round. The team that was able to walk away, EG want Faceless Void right now, I think is what's happening. EHOME in the right mind would ban Faceless Void right here and now. Otherwise, EG will get it.
Yeah, Void, Lone Druid, and Venge are left.
Because that's what happened in the last series. It was they got Faceless Void in game 1, EHOME did, and then game 2, EG got Earth Spirit, they got that win, and then game 3, EHOME got Earth Spirit, and they got that win. So I'm with you. I think first pick is a huge deal. So
yeah. You control the draft so much, and EG, you can ban a hero like Visage. EHOME are not going to pick Visage in the first stage, but it's literally a throwaway ban of a niche EHOME pick. I say niche, they pick it a decent amount. It's not like a completely out there hero, but it's a third, fourth pick for them that EG just say, we're going to leave this pool wide open. They can guarantee what is actually going to be a Venge pick for themselves. It's it's not flashy, it doesn't have a big teamfight ultimate or anything, but I think this hero in a lot of ways is one of the most important heroes right now. He's almost up there with Earth Spirit as far as what it can bring to the table.
She is so flexible, could be played as not just a 4, but as a 5, or even a 1 in some cases. Frequently we'll see it being paired together with Lycan or Drow strats. And are they going to lose Lone Druid plus Invoker? Alacrity Bear right off the bat? Could be something, we'll see. But 11 gets his Lone Druid again. He's already warmed up to play, so I'm sure he's happy right now.
Yep. Depends if they want to grab a support here and just hide a bit more of their drop. But Invoker's absolutely fantastic with the Lone Druid, and they're a team who can do the Quas-Wex Invoker with Old Chicken too, which is maybe something you want against a team that can play very fast-paced, look to push down towers and put pressure on you using a kind of Venge Aura strat. So it has that flexibility.
Could also grab a Witch Doctor to maybe deny it from EG. Typically something very good against the Bear. It didn't find him a lot of success in the last game, but it's still a potent support grab. As if they don't. Because last time they did wait a bit for the Old Chicken pick, and he lost the opportunity to grab up his Death Prophet or Viper. And to be honest, we didn't get to see him play a whole lot of Lena up to last game, but it was actually pretty damn nice. And that's intriguing. An early Rubik commitment here. Something seems a bit fishy by this. Unless they're going to go maybe they're going to go hefty push again. Could see a LAN Pugna utilizing the null field and hoping to go all in with the push.
Yeah, because Rubik's not a hero you typically think of to draft after Avengers pick. There's not really amazing... I mean, a Magic Missile is not a bad spell steal. The swap is not a bad spell steal, but it's not something that you're really picking the Rubik for. So I'm completely flabbergasted by this Rubik pick. I have nothing to say about why they would do it or what they're thinking, really.
I mean, obviously wasn't the intention to counter a Bat Rider. Lift could help a bit, but is never an easy guarantee. So EG are just going to get the obvious grab that's left there and going for the Bat Rider. I mean, obviously EHOME can't take the Bat Rider themselves. They've already committed for the Lone Druid, and they don't have that EG factor where they can play it in the mid lane. At least I've never seen Old Chicken play in the mid lane. So they grab it. They already have the best counter on Vengeful Spirit. I don't know if I foresee EHOME to kind of go down the road of an Oracle, but remember they pulled out that Legion Commander last time. Works great with Lone Druid and was very nice to counter the Bat Rider. So I wouldn't put it past EHOME to get Lanham that LC once again.
And it's more of the kind of support you want to have with a Rubik. Like a Rubik plus Oracle, to me, is a very weak support duo and doesn't really work too well together. But the Legion Commander can play that 4-position role, gives you a bit of AoE, a bit of control that can also lock down through BKB in the duel. So see what EHOME have in mind. Well, first EG, whether or not they want to ban something like the Legion Commander. No ban Oracle. I'm still surprised by this just because I don't think you want Oracle with Rubik. It's a just kind of weak support duo. They both play into that kind of like zoning, safe lane support in that kind of 5-position role.
Don't mean to break our immersion here, gods, but production in the back. Would you mind just taking your mic and turning it off right there? That would be a bit helpful. It's a little distracting if you can hear me right now. But yeah, Oracle. We don't know yet if EG are going to be going all in with the push or not, and typically Oracle could be bad at being able to outspam against a hefty push, but I guess they just fear it. He is very good against Batrider, not just in the sense that False Promise gets rid of the lasso, but is able to kind of purge the Fortune's End off with the sticky or lock him in place. I mean, you get a 2-for-1 special. You purge off your safe lane core while locking down a very aggressive Batrider in his spot, and you could turn things right around. But
And much like last game, EHOME are targeting Universe hardcore. And like last series, the series EHOME beat EG in, it was very much bans prioritized at Universe's hero pool. Batrider's already been picked up, but they're kind of acknowledging that Sumail plays this hero as often as Universe does, and they take out Darkseid, they take out Tide. Void's already been taken out as well, so...
Yeah, one step ahead, and we're still going to see the Invoker here. This could be the mass bear strat again, potentially, with the Alacrity and the LC once again. And with only one ban left, it could be the 4th pickup for EHOME here. So I'm curious what EG is going to consider as their best option to kind of prevent the bear from getting a lot. I mildly said something like the Witch Doctor. They made their attempt with it in the last game. I don't know if it's something they may favor again. Never hurts to have a lot of extra stun on your team. Or if they decide to change it up a bit, pull out something a bit different. I don't know if something like a stall strat again, banking back on the Arteezy Morphling, let's say, and getting like a Kunkka for fear once more. And
Morphling, you're maybe under a bit too much pressure.
Yeah.
That the stall would work there because you're against a 5-man team where they rush BKBs and didn't have good late game. Like they had a Lycan, and they had Lycan Gyrocopter with a Gyro mid, so they really had to. They weren't going to be able to win the late game battle. So I think in this scenario, EHOME will just keep on farming and not care if you're trying to stall, because EHOME with Invoker Lone Druid can scale a whole lot better. But for EG, I mean, KotLguy I still think is a decent pick. They're getting it just to give them some good big team fight, something that Fear's had some decent success on.
Yeah, for Fear, outside of course, the ever so what is now dubbed OP Ebola Spirit, we've been seeing, as I was already praising for, a mix of everything, whether it's the more hyper-aggressive enforcing 4 position or the more greedy jungler. Can't really do that here against EHOME, so I don't think they're going to be opting for that Enigma or any sort of jungle hero on that. And Undyne coming out, probably a first here for EG at MDL. I've only seen this one other time in this tournament in the hands of OG, I believe, in their very first round, but what do we think about the OD here? And the quick response from EHOME is going to be the Abaddon grab.
Ooh, it's a support Abaddon too. They've already
likely,
I assume this is going to be this typical off-lane lone druid we've been seeing from 11. That means Lamb or Kaka going to be handling this fella.
We saw them pick this up at Frankfurt as a response to the big Bane Slardar duo we saw at that point, where you had the easy shield to remove the amp damage, a sleep. Here you can remove sticky, I suppose. Put shield on the bear and allow him to get a little extra frisky. Can't really stop him from getting in your face, and has that damage buffer. But does feel like it's... Does it feel like it? Oh, well, they are going to grab up the Morphling, it looks like here, so... We'll have to see what the game plan overall is, if they're banking a lot on the watery shoulders of this Morphling.
At this stage, until we see like what that last pick's going to be, it is very much a draft built around their carry, Arteezy Morphling. So.
Yeah.
For EHOME, I mean, the Abaddon pick is very similar to what the Legion Commander did. You've got the heals, the sustain, and you've also got the counter to the Batrider Lasso. The Aphotic Shield doing similar to what the Press the Attack does, but a bit better laning presence from Abaddon. You can go to the offlane. You can put the shield on the Spirit Bear as well, and just have it run in, take damage, and then just pop and really harass away at EG. So I think it's just a better early game option than the Legion Commander, because even though they won that Legion Commander game, it was very shaky, and it was not really... It felt like a game that they were going to lose at some point. So, and I think a big reason was that they had a Legion Commander support, and that hero just had no laning presence.
And obviously the wave clear doesn't seem as necessary here. Yeah, Brood being banned out. Something EHOME were the team that pulled out the cheeky Brood 5th grab. It wasn't a 4th grab. Against OG. Definitely got everyone a bit percolated, but will not be seeing it here. So... Still yet to determine if it's going to be a Universe Batrider or if they're going to be grabbing something else here for Sumail. Jug going to be banned out here and now. So maybe they're banking on getting Sumail a high magical damage caster for the mid lane. I don't know if they need to fall back for someone like a Queen of Pain or something, but maybe a Jug would have
Lina
posed
has
a problem.
been one of his
Lina,
best
yep,
heroes.
that's true.
If they want to get that. I mean, EHOME are dead set that this is like a mid bat rider for Sumail. They're just continuing to ban out Universe heroes. And I think almost they're like, well, let's just keep banning him and let's force him to run Universe on the offlane bat because it's maybe not been one of his best heroes or a type of hero that he wants to be playing.
They could still get him the Earthshaker. It's
Yeah.
probably the best high ground defense for being able to stall out more for the Morphling. It makes it very difficult for EHOME to be able to penetrate into the EG base. So they could still keep Sumail on the Batrider mid and grab something like that. We'll have to see. EHOME do have the fifth pick here, and we're wagering it is going to be the grab for CTY to contest this Morphling here. Do you think they can go more fight-eccentric mid-game push before the peak of the Morphling, or dare contest the Morphling later on?
Yeah, so it's not an Ursa game, I don't think. Not against Morphling Batrider.
Like Slark is more like a fight-heavy grab.
Want something a bit more mobile, or optional. You want something that can also like silence and deal with the Morphling. Like they haven't played Queen of Pain in so long, but like an Orchid's Rush, Quap in the safe lane.
Wow, I really thought it was going to be the Slark because it's so good naturally against the Batrider here, but they're going to be going with the Weaver. And that old natural combo, Weaver plus Abaddon. Hello.
Yeah.
Nice little shield, Sakuchi in, harass. Haven't seen that in quite a while.
Gives them some minus armor when they have a decent amount of physical damage coming out from Weaver, the Invoker, whether he's Quaswex or Exalt, the Lone Druid as well. So a nice pick, and he's a hero that actually Batrider is quite bad against because you go for the Linken's build is just so natural for Weaver, and it's really hard to deal with that.
And EG going back a page here for Sumail. They're going to grab up a heavy spellcaster, but now a lot of crowd control and good silence, which may be necessary against this Weaver, against this support Abaddon. They get the Puck.
Puck's traditionally one of the better Weaver counters in the game because Weaver likes to go Linken's, not BKB, and Puck, none of his spells really care about Linken's. You blink him with a silence, and Weaver can't Shikuchi out of there. He can't time lapse. And the Dream Coil, similar thing, where if he tries to Shikuchi away, he's going to stun himself on it, and makes Puck a very good hero against Weaver.
So now that we see the 5-man spread here, who do we have confidence in, and who was able to kind of dictate the pace in the draft alone? It did feel like EG were more on the responsive end of the draft, but the Puck grab does...
I feel like EHOME just like have a plan. Like they were happy to give up what they gave up in the Batrider. And they also, this Abaddon pick is something that they've been just kind of theory crafting, playing around. It's going to be LAN handling it, but All Chickens draft has just brought something a bit new and different to the table every single game. And it just seems like consistently they're like a step ahead of EG.
All right, here we go, folks. It's game number 2 of our MDL Grand Final. EG going against EHOME here. EHOME already up 1 game, but it is a full best of 5. They got to take down 2 more wins if they want to be walking away with that huge prize pool money share. It's $270,000 of prize money. Look at the difference here. First place will be walking away with $125,000 nearly. Second place, $55,000. It's a good chunk of money difference between first and second place, so they're going to be clawing it out tooth and nail for this one here. Doesn't seem like any early TPs for wards at the start, and it'll just be a subtle bit of intel given from both sides. Early ward drop on mid lane here, it looks like, for EHOME, and EG get one on their side, so a lot of priority towards this mid lane.
And a Iron Talon build coming from Lone Druid. I don't think we've actually seen much of the Iron Talon from 11. He's been going... Well, I guess he's had 1v1 matchups, so you don't want the Iron Talon in the 1v1 matchup, and expecting perhaps a slightly more difficult lane with support. You're not thinking Arteezy's going to be left alone, and I highly doubt that's going to be the case. EG just trying to secure themselves.
Look at this. EHOME looking to make a fight happen. At least they zone back, but a good sidestep from Sumail will avoid the EMP.
Gone phase shift, he's in trouble.
And they're making a move for Kaka. It looks like they're going to get the early shield out, but it might not be enough. Fear continues to hustle in, and with the decay, he will be able to secure the first blood. CTY kind of dances with him a bit. Will Sakuchi away from trouble, so EG off to the races, it looks like here. And Fear is not done yet. He's still muscling on in. He's got the decay stacks building up right now. Lanham has got to retreat. Look at that, 5 stacks, and he is popping the Ring of Bassi. Lanham will turn, remove the heal of the Clarity, but he is still in a lot of trouble. Rubik has to step in, help out with the telekinesis. Fear, he's not going to move in with another decay, it looks like. He's still considering it, though.
There's a Fairy Fire, but even just forcing that one out.
Wow. So, nice aggressive start does come out from EG.
It looked like Puck was going to be in a bit of a hot spot there, using the phase shift just to dodge the EMP, but then having level 1 phase shift, not really ideal when you're suddenly in a 4v4 fight, but level 1 Undying with Decay, he was the bruiser. He just ran up, zoned EHOME's heroes away, and Sumail didn't really have too many threats after that.
Looks like for now another matchup where it will be RTZ versus 11, while top, CTY, a couple of stacks here. And will quickly be able to Sakuchi away from trouble. Has babysitter land him. Uh-oh, bottom lane. RTZ going to be forced to morph up quite a bit, but look at the damage coming out right here. Okay, gets back under the tower, and he's like a one tango to work with now.
And he morphed so much to strength that he's not getting value out of that salve. He was on 900 HP. And he's missing 800 HP when he popped the salve. He had 100 out of 900, so you're not getting efficiency out of that. You're still going to be at most 2/3 HP after the salve plus Tango, so he's really going to have a rough time down bottom against this lone druid. Old 11 off to a fantastic start. Even though the CS is even, it's all about the HP regen and who's got more left to sustain themselves in these lanes.
Yeah, I mean, PPD's not going to be able to really zone back the lone druid a whole lot, but he will be there for the 2-minute rune, grabs it up, while Kaka will take up the arcane rune at the top lane, it would appear. So this dual lane from EG now, trying to play it a bit more on the aggressive side, is turned it down a bit since the first blood action. It's not going to be very easy diving into this EHOME safe lane. I mean, CTY's got Sakuchi. As Lanham gets levels, it becomes much more difficult to get some serious offensive work done. Looks like it could be another game where EG have a bit of a struggle in the laning phase, but I don't want to be speaking too soon here.
Yeah. Yeah, for now, KotLguy Invoker can't perhaps crush Puck in last hits as badly as an Exort one does. Doesn't have any alacrity available to him, so that matchup at least going to be a little bit more even between the Puck and Invoker. And if anything, yeah, Puck favored for now. He's got 5 CS over the Invoker with the early good start. We'll have a quick pause here.
Yeah. Well, steady as she goes, I suppose. But what do you think now with this kind of mid lane matchup? It's been a while since I've seen Sumail play the Puck right now. Is it one to get more proactive with once you start getting the Dream Coil online, looking to kind of add some extra aggression? Last time they let the lone druid kind of do his own thing in the mid game period. Maybe this time they put a little bit more extra pressure onto him. What would be the answer?
I think even before Blink Dagger, just with some levels, he's going to be looking and ready to TP around. If anything, it's the Bat Rider who can power farm better towards his Blink Dagger, so Puck can just look to fight, use just pure levels to either find some kills or create space for the Bat and morphing on the map. You don't want all 3 of your cores just being greedy and farming once you get past the early laning stage, so most likely it's Sumail who tries to get more involved, be active, and kind of counterplay any EHOME aggression.
Looks like Universe will head back to pick up his Tranquils. Before heading back to lane, could always opt to step back for the jungle if he needs to kind of build the farm and let Fear take the lane. But Fear is already on his own little adventure here, still sporting his 2 mangoes. And he's looking to kind of get some decays action happening here. Sumail's tantalizing him a bit, but here comes Fear. Now the orb on forward. Is there going to be a commitment? Nope. Old Chicken will be brought down to half of his life, but will be in the safe zone and away from trouble.
And the nice thing about the KotLguy build, he's got plenty of HP regen, good at HP and stats for this, and nice rune deny. RTZ really needed that because of the bottle refill.
He like walked away from it from a bit. It looked like
Savage Roar, yeah.
Oh yeah. Wish there was more of a graphic.
I'm still getting,
with the Savage Roar. I like hear it, but then I'm like, oh, I just thought that was a casual roar from the bear naturally, but you're right.
It takes some getting. I'm still occasionally see it. I'm just like, wait, what? Why are they running away from the hero? Oh, right, that's a new spell.
The roar. Look at this, Lanham. Don't see the ganking Abaddon every day, but
I don't really know if he's expecting to get a kill here. Sumail would have to use an aggressive orb forward, so he's just trying to. He's probably telling Old Chicken try and get him to use
coax him a bit.
Yeah,
make him spell. Yeah, make him use some spells.
Entice him with take a few pot shots, you know.
They will force out the Sakuchi. CTY will step away from the trouble.
But realistically, very low percentage kill onto Sumail. Even if the orb goes down, he's very close to his tower, and quite likely with orb on cooldown, I don't even think they get the kill.
Puck in general, just such a hard mid laner to kind of get the jump on, so he'll be able to kind of avoid any sort of incoming trouble. CTY, as we saw, getting pressured back, but still at the top of the CS right now, 24 and 12, right there with both Sumail, it looks like, and Arteezy. So Arteezy getting a lot in this bottom lane right now. On the other side, you have 11, 17, and 7, so a nice equal trade. But here comes movement from PPD towards the top. His Fear is going to be committing the Tombstone. He steps in with the wave. Magic Missile on for KotLguy, and that will be enough to take him down. 2-0 start for EG, it looks like. CTY makes his move in, and we'll try to quickly Sukuchi out, but they got the dust. It slows him down, but Lanham will be there. 8 seconds for the next shield, and EG are not going to be able to kind of follow up with any additional damage.
And that shield gets rid of the dust as well, so it makes it very hard to kill the Weaver in those situations, but even hard enough just because of the Shikuchi speed getting him away from there. But very kind of neck and neck early game. The CS pretty much even between the two sides, maybe slightly favoring EHOME with the offlane Lone Druid getting more than the Batrider, but it's EG with the kills here and there. I feel all in all, even though EG are getting the kills, there's a lot of pressure onto the EG lanes. There hasn't been a kill into the Morphling, but he's been constantly low. And here again, top lane.
He's in for this one. He's already got the Swarm on it, and he's going to get it with the last auto attack right now. And now they look for Fear. Fear's going to be going down as a follow-up. Old Chicken making the rotation from the mid lane, participates, and they walk away with their winnings. A takedown on both Universe and Fear.
Yeah, Old Chicken getting very proactive early on, and something that's nice about, again, the KotLguy Invoker, it just feels like every game outside of the 2 games we've seen from Old Chicken, it's always been the Exort Invoker. Some have gone for more Forward Spirit, Sunstrike. We've seen some go for like the Yule's combos, but it's really kind of nice, refreshing to see the KotLguy Invoker. It's still not as strong as it once was, but it's much more proactive and gets involved in the game earlier on. And when you have a hero like Lone Druid on your team, I don't think you want to be running an Exort Invoker. You just don't have the space for those two to be on the same team.
And once you get that one root, man, you can seriously do a lot of damage. But as they step back and reform here, Sumail has Dream Coil, and he wants to put it to work. But as you said, they have the ward in the lane, and just as fast as Sumail makes his appearance, EHOME are quick to retreat back into a safety position. And Sumail's going to take his business out to the bottom lane instead. Can they get a grab onto 11 now? They don't have that lane vision. And there's going to be just a walk-up coil right now. Shape shifts to kind of get in the extra HP, but PPD's right behind with the assistance of the Magic Missile. Here comes Lanham in a 1v3, but suddenly a Wild Chicken appears and dishes out the big tornado catch, and it looks like they might be able to get the grab. It's a trade where they get the grab onto Arteezy, a worthy one for EHOME.
Well, huge, again, Old Chicken. It's his movement, his rotations, finding what EHOME need here in the early game. It was a really good TP from Sumail, because he realizes as soon as EHOME back off, play defensive at top, that he must have been scattered by. I mean, it's 8 minutes in. You kind of, there's a probably 60 to 70% chance they have a lane ward up top, but he makes that movement anyways to show himself, and then he shows himself top, goes into the trees where he's going to be in fog, and then TP's bottom. So Lone Druid's pushed up and contesting the lane because he sees Puck top. So very smart heads-up play from Sumail, but ultimately EHOME equalize things, and if not, get the better trade with the Arteezy kill.
Just as quick as they get that Arteezy kill at the bottom, they smoke up and they go towards the top lane, it would appear. Hoping to catch out Universe, who's going to have to take the road back, it would seem. But no, he comes back towards the lane here. A quick tornado setup, and this Batrider could be in trouble. And we'll have to see if EG have TPs on hand for a possible tier 1 rotation. Uh-oh. He's moving right towards Secret Shop and right to trouble.
Oh, he's gone. Just caught vision of those heroes in a nice little pocket of trees where he could easily get back in the fog.
Gekatep will be averted. Nice spottage right there for Universe, and the smoke will just have to be put on the side, it would look like. Sumail's still staying at the bottom lane here, has a new Dream Coil up now. If the game continues like this, and you were saying before, things almost feel, as far as farm goes, at a bit of a break even, who does that benefit better?
I think, for me, EHOME, they're going to hit their kind of timing with their 5-man lineup earlier. EG's going for these 2 Blink initiators who can find great pickoffs in the Puck and the Bat, but that kind of play doesn't work against the EHOME team and playstyle. They're a team who will group up as either 4 or 5, and in this case it may just be 4 while Lone Druid farms. Until Lone Druid has Radiance, it's a 4-man push, creating space for the Lone Druid. And EG, they can try and, like last game we saw, like they recognize EHOME's playstyle and try and gank the bear here or there, but killing him once, for example, isn't going to ultimately change a whole lot.
There's the coil. It's committed for Lanham. He gets dropped. No borrowed time yet. And
for EG, they've got to be more concerned that the bear is just farming away. Killing him is not going to change that fact, and they just don't have a hero who can go down there and contest that lane.
It does feel like, though, Universe's blink timing is going to be a bit late in this one. Not at that peaking when you'd like to see for the bat, so I don't know if EHOME know that or not and might start playing a bit more hesitant if Universe continues to kind of stay off the map a bit. But at mid lane here, Old Chicken moves forward. PPD just trying to soak up some solo XP for himself, trying to get towards that level 6. And he could move forward, go for the missile, but would need, obviously, some serious assistance here. And they have Coil, but not much else to add on top of it quite yet. But here comes that Coil. Can they go? Swap back. Silence. Right clicks are coming out. They got the orb. Dishes out the cold snap. Now retreats down south right now to make it back and away. I said he had a Coil, but he actually doesn't. Obviously using it on Lana before. But with what they had, it's not going to be enough. They do need that Coil. So Old Chicken's going to make it away from trouble.
All right, nice. Nicely played. I mean, he's so tanky. He had 1100 HP at full with Magic Wand. Didn't even have to use his Fairy Fire. Like, killing Invoker is just a huge ask at this stage of the game with 2 heroes. I don't think, unless you're bringing in someone like a Batrider, I just don't think that's going to be plausible.
Double shields from Lanham here as he eats a casual bit of harassment. All will be well. Not seeing a huge acceleration, though, for these tier 1s from really either team right now.
Yep. Lone Druid not really prioritizing pushing at this stage. He's got his Midas now. He'll only prioritize solo pushing once the rest of his team are ready to group up a bit and play around like the Weaver item timing.
Here we go. EG looking to make their move for the bear here. Old Chicken sends through a tornado, kind of disrupt the action with the EMP. Targets the Tombstone, quickly takes it out. Sumail gets the catch. A 2-man Coil right here. Follows it up with the silence. They'll be able to finish off the Rubik. Lamb's going to be getting the Pyro time off. He looks to retreat, but so much damage flies through. PPD ends up securing a double kill with himself with the assistance from Arteezy. They got the dust. Nice swap back comes in from Peter, and now the follow-up kill is going to be, time-lapsed. CTY dashes for the side shot, but he has no quick TP. Are they going to be able to spot him out here? No, they will not. CTY. Man, that cheeky little bugger. Going to make it away from trouble.
So fantastic grabs coming out from EG. Using the Tombstone just so well placed. In EHOME, they focus the Tomb, but the end result is that while they're focusing the Tomb, heroes are going down. Their supporting cast not really that fight ready. The Rubik not offering a whole lot at level 5, so EG take a big one, and while that's all going on, Universe is farming away towards his Blink Dagger, and Puck also getting close to his. So they're going to have their double Blink Daggers at a very good time this game. And they need to, because if they don't get these and start looking to pick off and punish EHOME, the farming Lone Druid, or heroes like the Weaver using the Puck, then I think EG will be in trouble once EHOME start breaking towers.
At that point, Arteezy won't have the free space to farm up and be that insurance policy. They need these Blink brothers here to be able to cause a bit of a ruckus in the mid game and create that space. So we'll see if they'll be able to get the tools necessary to get the job done, or if EHOME are going to be able to respond their own way. They're putting some farm priority, it looks like, into Abaddon here, getting that shield leveled up, extra heal and nuking power leveled up a bit. Even CTY getting some farm priority at the top as he finishes out his Lincolns, or looking to attempt to. But what is going to be the trigger point then for EHOME to kind of turn it up a notch and then start moving forward? I mean, doesn't look like anyone's really going to be the mech candidate, so it's not like let's get the mech in 5-man at that point.
Yeah, there's no items. There's not even really any big levels for them, but it's more going to come down to movements and play, like how they can use their smokes. And they've got most of what they need. It's the Invoker who has to kind of dictate the flow of this game here. And, well, they will force them morphing away with the EMP, and then while that's going on, they break the Undying, getting the 2 money as well for the Lone Druid.
It looks like Fear just kind of caught away from home. And
I think EHOME need to maybe counterplay now that these Blink Daggers are up on Bat and Puck. Try and predict where these heroes are going to go, and have if Abaddon's there ready to counter the lasso or the Puck silence using a shield, that's going to be huge. That's how EHOME win fights. It's going to come down to the execution and positioning of heroes like the Abaddon with the shield, the Rubik with the lift. If they can sit behind a Weaver or an Invoker or whoever's getting jumped and turn a fight around, that's gonna be big for EHOME.
Now they know that Sumail's in the bottom lane with the assistance from that ward. As Fear shows up, they'll do a little bit of that bottle abuse. But look at this guy, Fear. Got one Blink Dagger, got one smoke. It's time to go on the move here. Let's see what kind of high priority target they're looking to get the grab on. It may be 11 here in the bottom lane. They're hustling down there. 11 really needs to kind of go back into a serious defensive position at this point to avoid being caught out. Very rarely, though, does a Batrider miss a catch with a smoke and his first blink here. Makes his move in. The wave comes up short. He does get the catch. It's way behind the tower, though. Is it too far? He goes in. A Savage War could keep him back. He's going to be silenced a bit, but yep, he makes it out to safety zone. Did EG commit too much, though? Rotation's starting to come in. Lanham is going to be forced to pop out his borrowed time.
And
EG
EHOME don't even
retreat.
I don't think EHOME even need to punish this. Ooh,
Oh!
that was
CTY caught in the middle, going to be spotted out. Even in the Ghost Walk, they popped the coil to get him, and now they commit for more. They know they have the advantage in numbers. They look to go for 11. They didn't get him the first time, but they'll get him the second time. A killing spree for Arteezy, and now the Rubik also going to be going down. One by one, they potentially fall right here. Now CTY getting involved. They do drop the sentry. They will be able to see him. Universe goes into flight. They get down Lanham.
And the Dire Courier, they lose the ultimate orb.
Everything going
in the
apart
middle
right
of
now.
nowhere. And EHOME would just they avoided the Bat Lasso. You kind of talked about, like, you don't often avoid it, and they managed to do that, but then they re-engaged. They didn't need to re-engage. The entire fight, CTY was solo pushing top lane. He actually took a T1 tower up top. It was a perfect situation for EHOME.
Yeah.
The Bear survived. The Weaver was taking a tower by himself. No one had to die there, but then they decided, they came to the conclusion that EG was perhaps out of position. They wanted to re-engage, but re-engaging, yeah, Batrider's Lasso was on cooldown, but Bat has other spells. He has Sticky Napalm you're fighting into. He had Firefly still up. He had the Flame Break, and
oh, nice. He just stole Morph, so expect the strength gangs. Whoa, look at him build up the power right now. This Rubik is no longer going to be an easy takedown at this point. He'll be able to walk in with now 1,300 life.
That was a big, much-needed win for EG. They were ahead on kills before that, but the net worth of most of the core heroes, yeah, it was EHOME favored despite the EG kill lead. They had the
and I got to admit, I mean, even I thought that EG were going to be out of position at that point, but yeah, suddenly they just recovered so well.
Yeah, great sustain. Like it's Undying. This is kind of where Undying is at his peak. He's got 2 points in Sorib, maxed out Tombstone, biting into the Flesh Golem, very tricky. And Puck, he used his first kind of Silence plus Orb combo on the Lone Druid, but these are just standard spells that are going to come back on cooldown. So by the time EHOME re-engage Puck, he's got another Waning Rift, another Illusion Orb. He's still got high nuke damage to kind of fight and play around. So EG were ready to go. And I think the one other thing EHOME just kind of overestimated is just like the power of their support. They've got, I mean, not that they thought it was going to be strong, but this is a Rubik Abaddon. Neither dishes out that much damage. They're just purely kind of defensive supports in a lot of ways, where they're sitting behind looking to save a teammate with a well-timed lift or a shield. Rubik, if he steals a big spell, can try and make a play happen, but for the most part, these heroes are just very defensive.
Oh, it looks like they caught Lanham. That swap certainly puts him back right into the arms of EG. Old Chicken tries to help out with the tornado there, but they do cancel out the TP with the coil, a silence, and then follow up with damage. We'll be able to take down the Abaddon. And that's tough because it does look like Lamb is doubling back, trying to get together the mech, and that's going to put it off. Now a catch, they get the lasso, and it looks like Kaka, even though he's got all that life, doesn't matter. He's going to get bursted apart. Arteezy gets the last word in, and we'll be taking him down. This is looking to turn into a bit of trouble here for EHOME. That point where we're expecting him to be able to ramp it up and start pushing through those tier 1s. It's looking to be further and further away.
Yeah, they've just kind of given away one too many kills. C2Y doesn't have his Lincoln Sphere. It is stuck on the dead Courier, but no Batrider Lasso. He's going to be A-okay here.
Time lapse is forced.
So Lone Druid's Radiance is going to be the next kind of big gain for EHOME, and just 3,000 gold, not great. Last game it was a 17-minute relic. This game, admittedly, has been much tougher for him. There's been a lot more pressure on his lane, but still you ideally want that in the next kind of 3 minutes or so. And EG can try and punish, take more towers to secure Roshan. They've gone for this very physical damage-based build from the Venge, having the max Howl as well as the Aura. And that means their entire lineup. The Morph is actually able to fight and do right-click damage at this early stage of the game because of the Vengeful Spirit.
In a Morph game where he's going to be allowed to get fight active and actually walk away with kills is a happy Morph game because he's going to be the big hitter in the late game here. But does CTY has that Lincoln's now complete? He could build in the damage, and he also has like nearly 1,200
they
gold.
can still
look who's looking for him.
Yeah.
Jump in silence, and Universe will be there. It might be forced to pull out the lasso as the time lapse will be popped out, and they don't have the detection. So he does end up showing himself, and suddenly an Old Chicken shows up, pops down the cold snap here, tornado, and Universe trying to fly away to a safety zone.
The
and
Firefly!
It's a bit too tricky. He's going to be able to kind of hide himself into a corner. CTY Persistent does get in there and get the job done, but now the response from EG. Sumail looking to move in. It looks like he'll get the grab onto Rubik as he makes a steal. Swap back from PPD, and they'll be able to follow it up. What was once a one-kill pickup on the Universe has turned to a three-man drop on the side of EHOME.
They're so focused and tunnel visioned on Universe on the bat there. They're not watching their heroes as they take tons of damage while standing at Firefly. By the time they killed him, the Firefly wore off, but Invoker was on about 100 HP. Weaver was down to a couple hundred HP again, and that was a very easy cleanup for EG, who swooped on in.
It does feel like EHOME are having trouble kind of seeing the big picture in these fights. And as you said, just get really bloodthirsty for that one target. Don't realize the counterfight that's been coming out from EG here 2 times now. And Arteezy is rooted up right now. Zapped and dead. Okay.
He did not. That was greedy. That's a big screw up from Arteezy.
I
No
wasn't even
excuses for that
overhyping
one.
that because I thought he was going to be A-okay at that point.
He was on like all agi. He just did not go to the morph strength early enough. That was just a big misplay.
We'll let that one go. Fear will respond to the bottom because it looks like EHOME are trying to follow it up with a possible tier 1 push. PPD anticipating possibly the behind the tower ward. It's not going to be there. And Roar will be able to keep them away from trying to take the bear. But, oh, PPD says get right back here. He's been on it with the swaps, and they'll be rewarded with a 300 gold coin purse right there.
One cooldown. Can't use his. I think his Midas was up too, which he can't use. But his Radiant's about to be picked up. He's got the Relic, and that Arteezy kill makes a massive change to this game just because of Lone Druid getting so much gold out of it.
Jizzy will be able to pick up his own Lincolns now. But you compare the net worth between him and the Weaver does etch up ahead just slightly.
Yeah, and it's EHOME in like the core positions just that little bit ahead of their counterparts. So
yeah.
You see the kill scores and you don't think, oh, EG's in control. They've gone for this ganking line. They have the Puck, the Batrider. They only have that one late game carry in the Morphling. On the EHOME side, you've really got 3 late game carries. I'd put Invoker in that kind of late game carry department. But there's something to be said having these big like initiators like Bat. Bat is still a late game hero, even though he's not going to be a DPS source. He's got that ability to just turn a fight into a 4v5. So.
Uh-oh, Sumail stalking right now. Oh, this could be a big coil if he wants to go for it right there, but they decide to hold off and wait for the engagement and then springs the trap, pops the coil in the silence, and as they shrug it off with the mech, they quickly take down the tombstone here. EHOME, can they reposition and take this fight back? Fears Sumail, go on the prowl, looking to get a hold of Old Chicken. He shielded up and healed here from Lanham. They're going to be able to take down Fear. Still can't get Old Chicken. Universe moves on forward, got the force. Colts, he steps away with the ghost block right now. Lanham keeps him alive, but finally they get the lasso. They will take down Old Chicken. Lanham ascending to the staircase here, but unless he can force himself to the low ground, he ain't going anywhere. Flame Break will assist in the finish, and it ends up turning into a 2-for-1.
I think it's still an okay fight for EHOME. The Lone Druid was just pushing and farming down in the bottom lane the entire time. They managed to keep the Invoker alive for an incredibly long time.
Oh, yeah.
And that's time for the Bear Radiance to come up, so I feel it was a much more even trade than the 2-for-1 suggests.
Here's CTY now. Already with one hammer. Probably looking to go towards the Desolator. Both cores trade. Lincolns will be popped, and just a casual stare down it would look like here in the mid lane. But back to the grind we go, and just to echo from what you're saying before, it seems to be easier to have a lot of confidence in the late game here for EHOME, having those potential 3 big cores here. EG all back on this Morphling, and the stall tactics, not as essential as we saw in their previous Morphling game with the assistance from the Fear Kunkka, but we'll see if they have to continue holding out, or do they need to consider getting more fight proactive at this point? I mean, I don't know if you want to kind of take it down the road here against EHOME.
They don't just... I mean, for EG, you can kind of scale alright still just because you've got that big initiator on the Batrider, and Venge turns everyone into at least a semi-carry as far as being able to dish out some damage. You've got the Max Aura, the Max Wave, and the fact EG supports are heavily out-farming the EHOME supports means that they're just going to offer a lot more in the late game by pure utility. Having items like 4-staff medallions, Aether lenses, whatever it may be, whereas a Rubik is just lucky to farm up a Blink Dagger by 30 minutes at this rate.
Universe looking on the high ground here for a potential catch, but they are pretty clumped, and unless he goes for LAN. Anyone else could potentially get shielded off. So we'll have to put the Firefly on cooldown in the meantime. EG look to secure the tier 2. They will grab it. Universe continues to wait here for the opportunity to make the catch. Pop the Lincolns. There it is. They pull it back, but there's the quick shield response, and suddenly 11's going to be free. But look at the big coil coming down from Sumail. Do they have follow-up for it? A zoning EMP does force EG back at this point, and they're going to quickly make the jump for Vengeful Spirit. They get PPD down. Arteezy looks to commit, but they are looking for Universe instead. The Batrider, though, is able to fly up and above. The rest of EG, they make their move, looking to get a grab onto CTY, but Sukuchi's away. At the same moment, Universe also flies away from trouble. Turns into just the one PPD takedown after a 5-man coil. Don't see that very often.
Yeah, tier 2 tower goes down, but it was already very low and was just kind of going to be tricky to defend. And gosh, a pretty big gold swing just for a Vengeful Spirit. Not like EG even had that big of a lead at that point, but for EHOME, it's all... EHOME at the start of the fight, we're kind of split pushing again. They're doing such a good job of just farming what's available on the map and then coming and then TPing in either the Weaver to come to the bottom lane to fight. We've seen that a few times out of this squad, and always making sure these fights don't go too poorly.
Sneaky little play there from CTY. Will be able to secure the tier 1 tower for himself. Flexing off that new Desolator damage right now, as he's also been able to string together nearly 1,400 gold. What do we wager will be the next item progression here? I know with CTY, it's always a crazy guessing game with this guy, but does he need to feel extra innovative on this one, or is it cookie cutter builds from here?
Yeah, that's a big question. He could go for the Diffusal again. It's always a nifty little item in a lot of situations. Can deal with the Ghost Scepters. Can also try and break the Morphling Lincolns using it, but get out of the Puck Silence. I think he wants an answer to the Puck Silence initiation, because Lincolns plus Deso doesn't protect you from Puck, so it's either going to be something like a Diffusal or possibly a BKB.
It is.
BKB is a slightly safer option.
Yeah, it's very safe. Makes it very defensive, and unfortunately his damage will suffer for a little bit in the meantime, but may be necessary, as you were alluding to, with just the control that the Puck brings to these fights. And it looks like back to the grind for both of these teams here and now. Split push pressure coming out from EG, being able to kind of continue to stall things out right now. It looks like the early makings of the Ethblade are in order here for Arteezy, and burst damage potential is there, of course, for the Rubik. A bit trickier to kind of burst down the Abaddon.
Oh, Rubik's, he's got all strength. He's fine.
Right.
Nice. I mean, 1300, he's still
He has a
not
bracer,
fine.
too. He's prepared for any sort of hefty burst.
He's still incredibly squishy because he loses all his agi, which means he's low on armor right now, and considering there's Avenge on the other team, physical damage hurts a lot.
Oh, yeah.
There's also a Solar Crest that PPD's had for the last fight or two, so... Smoke up. We'll have to find where they try and head here. They'd love a kill onto the Arteezy Morphling, and with an Orchid it is possible. They've got to break it and then instantly Orchid, but looks like they're not going to head that way just yet. Morphling's already TP back mid, so EHOME could be headed the right direction to find these kills.
And once they see him in lane, they could decide to change course. They've made the most of the smoke while they've had it. It's not going to be leading to a kill, but it looks like they will be able to at least plop some wards down and get some extra intel on the EG side of the map right now, as they are moving in and trying to put together a big stack of farm right now, it looks like, for Arteezy. They're one true core.
Yeah, EHOME put themselves in a position to find a good catch or pick off, but EG just huddled up wherever they feel safe, and with CTY playing how he is in the mid lane, it seems that EG are kind of aware that some shenanigans are going on around this area of the map.
Oh, I like this. Universe looks to be going for the Yules. You need that extra Lincoln's popper already going against this Weaver. Don't want to have to commit the Force Staff and then be stuck trying to slowly fly your target back. You can move in, get the Yules pop, grab them, force, bring it right back to the team, and hope that you have enough with like the silence and everything to kind of not allow him to be able to get the time lapse off. As EG will press towards this tier 2 top lane, dropping down a couple of wards for their own benefit. It's a trade, as EHOME will be able to secure the bottom tier 2, and they don't seem to be letting up quite yet. And can you really blame them? They have a serious amount of push potential. It seems that they want to, I was going to say, maybe draw EG back to their base side. They are able to get Arteezy back, but EHOME go right back to work. It looks like inside EG jungle.
And so ends the T2 tower push from EG. So EHOME get a tower uncontested. They're going to build towards the heart of Tarask on CTY. So
whoa.
The solution for the Puck Silence, not going to be getting rid of it. It's going to be surviving it by just raw HP. And this is going to give him a big HP pool. He's going to have the regen from the heart as well, so when he does these hit and run plays, he doesn't have to always commit his ulti to heal himself up. He can just try and use that bit of heart regen.
Yeah, I mean, if they can't burst him down the first time, he'll just easily time-lapse, and then they're not going to have much left to be able to finish off this Weaver at that point, committing so much early. I mean, that's the thing with EG's lineup. After something like a swap, it's like you commit your coil, your silence, the tombstone's already down, the Blade shotgun combo's already out there, and then after that, like, what are you left with to be able to finish off potentially the second time-lapse life of this Weaver? So, could be a bit tricky for EG.
I love the Aether Lens on Abaddon. That Orthotic Shield has such a short cast range.
Against this Bat Rider, you want to make sure that you always catch your target and save them.
I mean, Abaddon's used to, before this item was introduced, often go Blink Dagger as a support against a hero like Bat because of how hard it was to position against the lasso, but this Aether Lens...
Got to amp up that miscoil damage. Boom. And an Aether Lens for Rubik. So
increase the range of your ultimate.
2-for-1 special. And yeah, obviously will increase the range of that spell steal. A lot of good options still out there. Take a Tombstone, let's say. The Rift from Sumail to gain that silence. Magic Missile, swap. A lot of great options for potential initiation setups on the side of EHOME, because that is the one thing they really do lack on the side of EHOME, is a way to kind of get the fight kind of started, right? Like, how are they going to be able to make the kind of jump outside of maybe Old Chicken creeping in there, Ghost Walk, Tornadoes? That tornado misses, then you suddenly don't have very many options to kind of get things started.
RTC's going to be a bit careful there. That Lincoln's breaks, if he gets orchided afterwards, whew. He's fast, but
900 life.
I wouldn't put it past Old Chicken to be fast as well.
Home court advantage here for EHOME. Obviously looking to bring in the win in front of the hometown crowd.
I'm sure, yeah, the crowd is all for EHOME right now, especially because they've got these like young stars kind of coming in. I mean, CTY's been around for a little while, but Old Chicken, he's a big fresh face. I mean, Kaka, kind of a new name as far as playing on the Tier 1 teams at least goes. So very much a kind of a underdog story in some ways for the Chinese scene, which has been often kind of talked about. It's like, oh, it's all the same old guard who are just playing on all the top teams. Your Ferraris, your Chuans, your Zhao 8s, your Yaos, but this is very much a team where you've got just really the one veteran in LAN. Other than that, it's kind of 4 guys new to the top level of Dota 2.
And really is hard to not be a fan of him. I mean, he was talking about it a bit during their Frankfurt run. Remember, in the group stage, I believe, they had a really bad group stage, and Landon was saying how there was some internal complications, but now they're bouncing back and suddenly in a grand final and potentially looking to take a good fight here against EG. They get the pullback for University. Eth is going to be able to kind of keep him away from any sort of additional physical damage. Huge burst here on Kaka, but he's barely going to be able to stay alive. The first blow is going to be going down, and they get the catch on for Sumail. Fear looking to retreat on the low ground. 11 on pursuit. Goes into the Flesh Golem to get the extra sustain while Universe isolates, gets the catch. Him and Arteezy will be able to take down Old Chick in this fight. Split down the middle. You take that, we'll take this. And now it's Arteezy versus CTY manning up on each other. Both cores going in it right now. Arteezy changes targets and gets the kill on the Lanham. He's got a triple, waveform to the high ground, and he goes for the retreat. CTY, though, not looking to let up. Sees him, scouts him, goes Sakuchi, but Universe is here. He better be careful. Flame break, catches him. Lincoln's going to be popped right now, but he is not stopping yet. He wants Arteezy. Arteezy waveforms away, but he's still spotted with the swarm, and eventually he'll get dropped. That killing spree bounty now going to go to the side of 11. Universe will make it out at the back end, but EHOME with that grab.
The Savage Roar for the TP cancel, really well placed by Lone Druid, and that's the grab which swings that fight in EHOME's favor. They still maintain Aegis as well, so they can look to still use this to try and go for some kind of a siege. And we're starting to see EG's lineup fall off a bit because of the nature of just having the one carry in Morphling. And it's not like that other the game earlier they won with Morphling against LGD in a big comeback fashion where they're versing a team whose lineup's falling off. EHOME's lineup is going to keep on getting scarier and scarier. Every item for the Weaver, for the Lone Druid, for the Invoker raises them up to that next level. Luckily for them, Invoker is actually quite poor. If this Invoker was also sitting around like 12 to 13k net worth, EG would be done for. But this Invoker, he's down around the 8k mark.
EHOME get that tier 2. They know Arteezy's still out for 20 seconds. Dare they kind of dance on the high ground a bit here while they have the time? Looks like they will get started.
Bear.
Alacrity frickin' Bear now begins chopping away. Look at it, man. Tier 3 soon to fall right now, and they're going to make some early work onto the melee. Oh my god, look at the demolition work here. They might even just get the melee racks. Yes, they will. EHOME strike first inside the base and look to go for PPD, but suddenly the trap might have been sprung. They get the grab on a CTY, but he gets the time lapse off, able to soak up so much with the help of that heart. Sumail moves in, gets off a big coil. Arteezy looking to kind of shoot down anyone possible, but no one from EHOME to go down yet. They look to make the retreat out, and they all hold strong. No one even low on life at this point.
Quick the sustain from this Abaddon is so impressive. The one thing that is low is the bear. They don't have a resummon at this point. They need to try and keep this Spirit Bear alive, and that's going to be the target for EG. They break the bear. EHOME may have to fall back. At least they don't have a lone Druid anymore. They still have a Weaver with Aegis, so if Weaver wants to push, he's going to have to do it alone.
They have no universe, so after they take the melee, they actually look to change course. Why not get a possible melee here, maybe? They move down and...
They're doing this without the bear. It's still 80 seconds without Spirit Bear, which means they'll have the bear back up. Like, they'll have one bear and about 30 to 40 seconds left on Aegis. And, yeah, they make the call to TP out. You're missing... Lone Druid is, what, like 15, 16k net worth? He's, like, one of the top farmers of the game. If you don't have his Spirit Bear, you're missing AC, Radiance. He's got 19k net worth, so you want to make sure you have your Spirit Bear when you go for a push here. Otherwise, you're basically turning your, like, 5-10k gold lead into a 5-10k gold deficit. Medallion being picked up. Abaddon is just all about keeping this Spirit Bear alive in the front lines. He can chuck a Solar Crest on it later on once he upgrades this Medallion.
Hell, get a Lotus Orb Blade. Just make sure that this bear just has the best time possible. And
I wonder if can we check if the Lone Druid has the pipe on his bear or hero? Okay, he's going to keep on his hero for now. The magic resistance could be pretty nice on his bear as well. I've seen some Spirit Bear or Lone Druid players even put just like casual cloaks or the hood, the pipe onto the bear itself for the magic resistance, but perhaps worried about his own hero being the target of any aggression.
And as that gem did go down in the fight, he was quick to snap it right back up. Yep. So EHOME not even letting EG have that much. So they fully control this map. The options for pushing out right now on EG are pretty damn slim, with the exception of Arteezy, who, you know, unless he does get caught somehow, always has that replicate to make it away from trouble. Lincoln's popping silence would be the dream here, but I don't know if they can do it. No, he sees the Sakuchi. Waveforms, Palinkin,
oh, he's got
Manta.
Yeah.
See you later.
Yep.
So pushing the hero to the absolute limit to get that much extra push. It's just, you got to do it, you know?
Get that a bit of extra intel too. You know EHOME are fully committed to their entire lineup down there. So Aegis has expired now. Looks like no high ground siege off of this. It would have just been the one Spirit Bear, which...
Oh, nice. Easy ward spottage. Oh, and just as PPD wants to step back and get the sentry down, he avoids a tornado. They spot out Universe because of their own vision. They get the telekinesis pull back, silence him up, but he's able to get the force away to safety. Look at that, a smoke back, if you will, from
probably a
right
misclick, I think, there. When you're like in the middle of getting nuked down, you don't generally want to smoke there. Under a ward, I believe.
I'm sure, for sure.
Yeah. Probably meant to use something else in his inventory, but not a big deal.
But you can see, though, EG just trying to reclaim what kind of vision they can, and just as fast as PPD was able to move out there and get the ward down, he loses it, and he's going to be forced to buy some more. Was he at least able to get the 8th? Or he got the Solar Crest.
He's had that Solar Crest for like 15 minutes
but now he's on full ward duty.
Yeah, he's not progressed at all. He was 5k net worth when the Rubik was at like 2k net worth.
Every time he steps out to try to maintain vision control, they're just right there. And he's probably wondering, does EHOME ever go away and farm up? Oh, they might get a follow-up grab. Oh, good movement forward here. Mules, though. Shifts away.
Blink.
Can he get out from trouble? Nice little blink. He avoids trouble.
Cut that one close. Arteezy counter pushing the mid lane.
You got to do what you got to do, I'm sure, is the motto for him right now, because it's looking pretty damn bleak inside their base.
He's got a creep wave, so he may force rotations back.
And they're like, we'll quickly get to bottom then.
Nope. Back for protection?
Yeah,
okay.
the creeps are not in.
Yeah, that's a creep. There shouldn't be creeps
They want to outmuscle it while they can. That means 11's going to get snagged up. They pull the bear back inside the baselines here. Do they have enough assistance coming out? They're making their own focus on for Arteezy. They pull him up. Lincoln's going to be pop deafening blast. Orb on forward. Arteezy in a bit of trouble. Silence, miscoil, and they got him. He has to go down, and he has to buy back. EG forced to hold here or at risk losing another set of racks. And as soon as the buyback comes out, EHOME looking to retreat. EG would love to at least get something for it right now, and if that means a bear...
What a call to just go for the high ground and fight into backdoor protection. So few teams would do that. This EHOME team has some cojones. They just make a ballsy call, Morphling, I almost feel like Morphling kind of pseudo-panics there, because his team should be able to at least defend and stall for the backdoor protection to keep that tower and Rex alive, but Morphling decides to TP on back rather than continue going for the counter push in the mid lane with the creep wave. He had creep waves. He could have gone for the high ground. He should have been able to force EHOME back.
He got some good tier 3 tower damage, but the way that EHOME ramped up the base work, he was like forced to come back, and oh, they're going to get the grab on the Radiant Courier. Looks like it did have a little bit of a bounty on it, carrying a couple of items, but man, it gets much more difficult here. EG just never safe. EHOME, sharks in water, swimming out in front, and EG a bit nervous to go into the murky depths. Unless you're Morphling. You're a man of water, and you're happy to go out there.
They're just on the other side of the map by the EG base without a single creep wave. Like, they haven't even pushed out. They keep forgetting. It's kind of a bit sloppy from them because they need to be pushing out this mid lane, but it's actually impressive at the same time that they're making it work.
Seems to be the EHOME way, man. They have been one of the most, if not the most, aggressive teams in this tournament so far. I mean, in their matchup against Vici Gaming, game number 1 down in, what, 20 minutes? Game number 2, 17 minutes. These guys end games very fast. This is considered a long one for them. 41 minutes into this.
Yep. Coach won't be happy. Coach is going to be like, 7-1 after this. Going to have a talk like, boys, what's going on? 45-minute game. No, we're not having that. And if they lose, whew, then you won't hear the end of it from 7-1.
Really want to force any sort of split pressure off. A maelstrom coming together for the Lone Druid right now.
Yep.
EG on the offensive. They smoke, and they're looking to catch out EHOME here. Oh, they cross LAN. That's not the person you want to be walking across. They changed from him, and they instead go for the better target in CTY. Now, he knew they were coming in, and he will actually be bursted down, out for 80 seconds, no buyback, and it turns into a hot scramble of a mess right now. Coil going to be dropped right into the middle of the mix as EHOME are going to be forced to go toe-to-toe without their mighty Weaver, but they actually might still be able to get Arteezy with the power of the Lone Druid alone. The sustain coming out here from Lanham is going to be able to keep him alive. Arteezy does avoid trouble and steps away. PPD, the martyr, holds his own ground, will be the sacrificial lamb, but they're still going to be able to get the catch. It looks like here can Fear hold up. No, they're going to be going down. That's a gem on the deck, and they're going to be able to get Arteezy. Looks like it could quickly be a 5-man wipe and the game. EHOME have done it without the Weaver on top of it there at the end.
It was such a fast fingers play from Universe to start that fight, getting the Lincoln's break and then the insta lasso before they can react. EHOME get caught out with Abaddon not in a position to get the shield off, and look how much damage that bear did. 6.5k.
Woo!
I mean, you can see EHOME's play. Like, they want to fight. They go all in. They buy the Maelstrom. Bear didn't have buyback. Weaver doesn't have buyback. Weaver actually dies there. They don't care about buybacks. They want the best possible items to fight with, and having that extra Maelstrom in that fight gave them that extra bit of damage. Every little bit of DPS coming out counted, and man, did Old 11 just destroy that one.
They really read that situation so well. Even losing CTY, I guess, feeling that EG had to commit so much to get that job done, they just knew. Like, even in the 4 versus 5, but I guess if you count the bear, 5 versus 5 situation, they came out on top, man.
Yeah.
And now it's suddenly EHOME up 2 games. We could possibly be going into the last game of MDL, and EHOME could be taking it.
Could be an early night for us as well as EG here. I mean, for EG, it's been a long day, a long tournament already. They had a behemoth of a day yesterday from 15 hours from their first match to their last. But here they are in the grand finals, but they have their work cut out for them once again.
That's where I'm so torn because EG just had such a gauntlet of a tournament. We already know them to be the lower bracket kings, but this time they really went through the ringer, going right down to the bottom, starting with the complexity, moving forward, Vici, LGD, OG, and then finally making it here, only to potentially go down 0-3. But at the same time, you look at the other side and you're like, EHOME, a team that maybe finally deserved that kind of title and that recognition. So it's hard to root for one of these teams. We'll have to see if it's going to be closed out in 3 games or not, or if EG are going to be able to adapt and fight back. That's GoDz. I'm KotLguy. You're watching the MDL LAN Grand Final. We'll cut to a break. When we return, it's going to be game number 3.